Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to my channel. I would like to tell you about my trip to Rhodes. This trip was organized by MegaXplore by Benny Williams from 4x4 Mega World. It was planned from last year, but the destination was different. The destination initially was Lesotho. So at some point the president made an announcement of closing of borders and plans had to change. And we still wanted to go on adventure, at least some of us who haven't been to this side of the country. This is basically to summarize the trip for you and how we got to what you're about to see. The mountain passes trip was scheduled to begin at Vepena as a starting point for everyone. It was a 5-hour drive from Johannesburg via Bloemfontein. We arrived at Lord Fraser guest house quite late, joined the guys for a late supper and a few drinks. It had rained overnight and the weather was a bit chilly, but giving a sense of promise of a good day ahead. We then strapped up and set sail our 4x4s for the first mountain pass. Driving through the gravel in the wet roads, which were fairly of good condition, set the tone for what lay before us in this trip. The anticipation of a good time out amongst all of us was so real that we found ourselves as members of one family, tackling the mountain passes, and each one had to care for one another in the trip. We all had radios, we tested them out, and we sailed down through the mountains. So we're deflating tires, so we're taking it from 260 to about 1.5 or 150. So yeah. We drove through some of the most beautiful parts of our country, through various rivers, difficult terrain. I think almost 60% of the pass, we found a mudslide along the route. We tried to pass it, and Benny's car tried to create some tracks for us and open it up for us, but it was just too muddy and we could not pass. So we made a call to turn back and go back. Looking at the time, it was evident that we had to go and check in at our accommodation. The owner of the campsite, I believe, has another accommodation, so they graciously offered for us to stay at a hotel, and we enjoyed ourselves at the hotel, even though some of the guys were quite grumpy that no, they did not come all this way to come and sleep in a hotel. The next morning we set out again back to Landis Neck on the opposite end to see the view that we were robbed of yesterday by the mudslide. The views were spectacular, and a sense of anticipation once more filled the air as we drove to Landis Neck. Then the unfortunate happened. I lost my drone. It was a beautiful pass, mountain pass with a gorge town. going as deep as probably 20 meters down with beautiful rock formations. And I asked in the radio that, guys, can you please just pass for a moment and fly our drones quickly, just get the views inside there. And so the guys agreed, we did that. So I was trying to save stuff, so I set up my drone, fly it out, get some nice short flyovers, get into inside the gorge, beautiful. Everybody, there were I think 3 drones there. We're flying our drones, we're having a good time, we're taking some nice shots, we're imagining how we're gonna put the footage together. And I can see that if I bring back the drone, I feel like we'll be wasting a bit of time. So I'm like, no, let me push it a little bit further than how I would normally do it. So usually when it's like 25%, I normally bring it home. I don't take it further than that. So I let it go 25 minutes, like, no, it's quite close, it's coming. 15%. I said, okay. I press home. So yeah, I pushed it a little bit, and believe me, if it says it's too low and it wants to come back home, it's definitely right. I think that's something I learned the hard way.
I disregarded the warning. It said flight home, I said no, last shot.
That thing doesn't lie.
Yeah, I said last shot. Now when I said come home, it's too low to come home. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those. Now I need a cold one. The drone is gone. The 2017 Spark. They go now for for way cheaper than how much one bought it. So yeah, it's one of those things. A cold one. It's cheers to my drone that's down there. I'm drinking to you, drone.
I met a guy in the bar at the hotel who said that he can hike or drive up his quad bike into the gorge or a house to go look for it. Fortunately, with DJI drones, you can go and to find my drone, which has the last location of where it landed. And true to his word, he went there and he came back with the drone. And I was ecstatic that I was able to recover my drone. I actually had mourned the drone and said goodbye to it. Even had a bit of a drink to say, yeah, my drone is gone.
We came across an abandoned police station which did not look that old. It had a fairly new chroma deck roofing on it, and there was no one close by. It was a local to tell us exactly the story of the police station. It looked abandoned for some time, and livestock had made it its home. Yesterday we came up all the way. We stopped right there where those cows are, and just before the culverts. I think they're going to build a culvert structure later on. But we came out all the way. I think we did about 20 k's or 30 k's or so roundabout, and we had to make a U-turn there just in front of the mud. We couldn't pass. But yeah, we're back here on the other side. We came through the other side to have a look at it. It looks amazing. We could have came out all the way, but we had a mudslide which obstructed the route. But it's amazing. It's a part of the adventure. Let's go see some more. I can't believe I did that. The advantage that this got a filter on it, so I can drink mountain water. Let's taste it. Beautiful. We could now tick off that we had completed Landy's Neck, having enjoyed ourselves to go to the top and witness some beautiful views up in the mountains. We felt good.
Even if you can't, just slow down the forces, not happy with the car. So just slow down and stop in the right lane and just walk past you.
was a beautiful scene. While we were there, the weather changed a little bit here and there. We had rain. So when you're up here in the mountain passes, it's so, wow. I think I get to appreciate the people that stay here because we're quite close to the Lesotho border. And the people of, when we see people that stay in Lesotho who wear their blankets every day as shepherds or and so on, we look at it as if, no man, we're always sitting in the sun, we're always living up in wherever, but away from this climate and this environment. But really, if you're to stay up in these mountains, the weather changes like that at a snap of a finger, and it gets quite cold even in the summer. We were scheduled to get to stay in Rhodes in a campsite close to a cave. A beautiful setup. I only could see some of the pictures, but the river had flooded and we could only go so far. And we did not have the means and ability to cross over. There's one guy who was quite an adventurer, Tom. Tom decided to cross the river and get to the campsite. I'll show you some of the pictures that he took there. It's a beautiful place. And I definitely would like to come back here at some point. Let's talk about what happened with the vehicle. So while we're driving back from one of the passes, Benny's vehicle, he drives the Hilux. Well, you know what we do? We upgrade these vehicles and we install bigger exhaust pipes and so on. That's what I did. I think, yeah, most of us do that. He did the same. And when it got to the rattling that we go and we drive, I mean, it's a 4x4 trail that we drive on, and yeah, we get to do some rough driving. And sometimes some of these parts out of time, they out of fatigue over time, they would break up, maybe in terms of in places where they are welded, and that's what happened. Sure, I think I laughed, I don't know how I laughed, man, for like 2 hours. I couldn't stop laughing because yeah, I was not laughing at him because Benny really, he's a buddy. I look up to him, and I'm sure he would laugh at me as much if maybe. So Benny's car, as we're driving back, it started. The exhaust then broke up. So you've got two pipes that were welded together, sitting like this. So one goes to the manifold and then one goes the exhaust pipe. So it broke off. As it breaks off, my goodness, it was sounding like a tractor and so irritating to everybody. So we went up and they opened the bonnet, and one of the old men that we're traveling with, Chris looks at as we open the bonnet and he says, Benny? No, before he says anything, he just whistles this. So as he does that, we look at each other like, what do you see? And he says, you know that a good mechanic knows how to whistle. So that just made the whole setup quite funny.
Now it's a proper tractor. It's a tracker.
That's how V6 should sound.
Heerlijk. Where's the good mechanic?
You know, there's a good mechanic sitting taking the party.
We had constant breaks for refreshments and snacks along the trip, and my Snowmaster fridge did well to keep my food and drinks quite chilled. Highlight of the trip is Ben McDhui, and that was the highest pass in South Africa. It's 3,001 meters above sea level.
On this one, I'm purely driving, no chances.
Guys, whatever you do, keep going. Keep the momentum going. Keep going. Keep going.
I could not believe that this vehicle managed to get up all the way, and amongst the best, amongst your Land Cruisers and the best of them. We had fun going up there. It was quite scary. In some places, you would really, you have to keep your momentum going. We had Benny in our ears every time with our radios, who would tell us what to do, what to expect.
This is something else, eh?
Oh.
We started talking for Chris, kom hier aan met die draai, is niet te knap hier.
For all of us, it was such an exhilarating feeling, an emotional feeling of having reached such a height and having conquered such an obstacle, while still being propelled by mechanical horse. When we went up Ben McDhui, how emotional it was for me. It was as a result of having gone up Sunny Pass and being unable to complete it into Lesotho, and I went as far as the pub. But immediately after the pub, you get a very sharp incline, and it's quite long. It was sad, and be driving a Ford, sometimes the Toyota guys would have a field day, and have a lot to say. We had a wonderful sense of achievement as we got up to the mountain. Some of us shed a little tear just because of how the intensity of the climb was, and the exhilarating feeling of just being in the space where you just see the expanse of the landscape, and you see as far as your eyes can see. You're unobscured by any mountains. You're at one of the highest points. The only thing that would obscure your vision will be clouds, or will be a bit of mist.